Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of My Hair, My Journey. If this is your first time seeing me, I go by the name of KayKaySlays. And this program, My Hair, My Journey, is a program where I invite young Black men and women, and they have a safe space where they can share their natural hair journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes with us wearing our natural hair, just living in a society that does not necessarily accept us for our natural hair. It's also meant to help educate those who may not understand why we say things like, don't police my hair, or other things like that. So I hope that you will enjoy this program. With me today, I have the beautiful Gabrielle Onessa. She is a sister to me. She's not even a sister to me. She is my sister. And she is going to come on and she's going to share her journey with you. Of course, if you hear something, ask questions. If you're going to look at this as a rebroadcast, then you can go ahead, leave your questions in the comments. I'm sure Gabrielle will have no problem jumping in the comments afterwards and answering your questions. On this note, My Hair, My Journey will start in 30 seconds. Thank you guys. So before I read Gabrielle's bio, I just want to remind you guys to like this video, share this video with a friend, share it on your timeline. And of course, if you have not as yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to take it a step further, then go ahead and hit the post notification bell so that you never miss an episode of My Hair, My Journey or Sipper and Gaff or any other episode or upload that I may have on this channel. So while you're looking at me now, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to read Gabrielle's bio for you guys now. So Gabrielle Onessa David is known by most as Gabby. She's a loving daughter, niece, sister, and friend. Gabby loves to dance, sing, act, and write. Her newest hobby is painting. Gabby is an avid reader, but when she's not doing any of her other favorite pastimes, she likes to sleep. I like to sleep too, so that's something we have in common. Gabby is passionate about youth work and is very involved with the youth group at her church. Gabby inspires to become a psychologist, and she holds her Bachelors of Science in Social Sciences with concentrations in applied psychology and applied sociology. Very bright girl. Gabby believes in treating all people with the love of God as her lens. I hope I got that right. One of her favorite scriptures is Proverbs 3:5, which says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Without further ado, I would like you to put your virtual hands together and give a big welcome to Gabrielle Onessa David. Thank you very much, Sissy. So I'll do my virtual clap. And I first want to say thank you for coming on and thank you for using this KayKaySlays platform as a means of sharing your journey with the world, because the world is going to be someday.
Yes, girl.
So
Thank you for having
this.
me.
No problem. My pleasure. It's always a pleasure whenever we get together. So thank you very much for coming on and doing this with me. So I want to kick things off with the general question, the question I ask everybody, and that is, how long have you been natural?
So I've been natural for 2 years now. I first went natural in September 2 years ago.
Very, very nice. So can you give us a little insight into your natural, or I guess your renaturalization process? Did you transition? Did you do the big chop? What did you do? And then maybe you can also tell us what inspired you to go back natural as well.
Okay, so I did both. I transitioned for about 6 months, and then I could not handle the texture of it being relaxed and it being natural. It was like chalk and cheese, and I could not deal with it. So I finally called up my hairdresser, and I was just like, okay, no, it's time to cut. And so I went to the hairdresser, set my appointment, and we just did the cut. And it was the most liberating experience I think I've had in my life. I sat in the chair and I was just smiling the entire time because it was just, a wonderful moment for me. I think for years I've kind of toyed with the idea of, I want to go back natural. But then, it's like worrying about how am I going to handle my hair, because the whole reason that I went I relaxed my hair in the first place was because it was so thick and mommy didn't have the patience for it and I didn't really know what to do with it. So, we went the relaxed route, and for years I relaxed my hair. And I wasn't happy with it. My hair started to break and all kinds of things. And I was just like, no. And so I was like, I made a decision, and I actually wanted to go natural before I did my big chop, from about 2017. And then it was coming up to my 21st birthday. And I was just like, I was having this party and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be confident enough to go out with my hair short. So I relaxed it and I was so disappointed. But I finally did my chop and I was happy. And you can see.
Yes. We love it. So we have a question coming in from the comments. This is a question I was going to ask you. So I'm happy that it was asked by our viewers as well. And the question is, how did you prepare your mind for the big chop?
Ooh. Child, that was an experience and a half, because like I said, I had transitioned for 6 months and before I finally made up my mind. But it was a lot of going back and forth because, like I said, for years I had been wavering on the thought of whether or not I should do it, because I was like, I have this round face, how is short hair going to look on me? I don't want to look masculine because, you always hear about women and their hair is all this stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And even when I first chopped, I still used to make an effort to look feminine. I would wear long earrings, big earrings, dresses, skirts. I hardly ever wore jeans or pants or anything like, I was just like, I don't want anybody to walk up behind me and like, excuse me, sir. I would cry.
Oh my God, I get it.
It took a lot, but when I really got to that space, like I said, when I sat down in the chair to cut, there was no regret, there was no fear, it was just excitement. So
that is beautiful. We have another question on your big chop, and it asks, would you describe the big chop as an emotional experience?
I do. It was an emotional experience for me. Because it was so liberating. There was just something beautiful that happened for me personally in terms of the way that I see myself and the way that I experienced personal growth with the way that I looked and all of that. When I was younger, I would always feel the need to, whenever I'm leaving the house, I have to put on my face and, all this kind of stuff. And I would rarely ever go with a bare face, because I'd be like, oh, people are going to look at my dark spots and all of that. When I went natural, I don't know if it was like it just kickstarted something. I felt more comfortable just leaving the house with mascara and lip balm. And I was like, if anybody got a problem with my face, that's their problem. That's not
their problem. That's not yours. That's their problem.
Exactly. So it was definitely an experience, and it just started something in me. It helped me to be more conscious of taking care of not only my hair, but my skin. So it was good.
That is beautiful. We have another comment saying 2 years. Give us the secret. So do you have any secrets that you can give to those who, want to get where you are someday?
Girl, ooh. Honestly, it really blows my mind still, because I don't think that I really anticipated that my hair would grow this much when I first did my chop. Because looking back at pictures, and I was like, wait, this was a year ago? This was 2 years ago? Because the difference is just astonishing. But honestly, it's really just all about patience. When I tell you that natural hair is a labor of love, believe me, it is. You just definitely have to be patient with your hair. deep condition with heat. I know people like to say heat is bad. No, 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 no heat, no heat, no nothing. But deep conditioning and using a heat cap or just spending some time and having your hair soak in all that goodness with some heat, it does wonders for your hair.
So I like that you said patience, because one recurring theme that keeps coming out when we have a question like this on the interviews that I've done so far is that you need patience with your natural hair. So I encourage those of you, especially if this is your first time ever seeing an episode of My Hair, My Journey, that if you are going to get into this thing, if you're going to join us on this journey, then it is not a wham bam sham journey. It's a journey of patience. It's a journey where you have to take the time. And like Gabby said, it's a labor of love. If you love it and you can foresee its potential, then you will take your time. Yes, you see, we see Gabby's growth in 2 years, and that can be you. But you need to be patient, because I know, especially like for me, there's some days where I'm like, yo, like if I could get a container relaxer right now. So I know what it is, but patience is very, very, very important. So now I want to talk about ask you a question about some of the negatives that we would unfortunately face as naturalistas. And so I want to ask you if you've ever been the victim of any sort of discrimination or any rudeness or whatever due to wearing your natural hair in a public place.
Yeah. Yes, I have, unfortunately. And it's child. So I remember this one time I had worn my hair in an afro, and I felt so nice because it was just a nice little teeny afro, but I felt proud of my afro and I was feeling myself. And somebody used to say to me, you need to comb your hair. I remember it was I felt like I had gotten slapped.
Yeah, but honestly.
In breath, I respectfully said to that person, I said, whether my hair is combed or uncombed, it's always combed. It's always good. So I'm like, don't even. And she's like, ah. I'm like, no it's not it's combed. Yeah. It's combed. But I mean, you won't always feel comfortable making that kind of retort to someone, because it can just be so damaging to your confidence.
Definitely.
And it's not always easy, but you have to know the respect that you have for yourself and all that pertains to you. And so you can't let someone degrade your confidence. And no. Take it from me. Understand that everything about you was crafted, created, and designed by God, and you are exactly the way that you are supposed to be. So don't let anybody with their own insecurities try to tell you who you can or cannot be.
One thing I love in your statement is that you said with their own insecurities. A lot of people would have their own insecurities and then they project that onto you. So sometimes it's really about, like my mother would like to say, let that be small potatoes or what on a dog's back. It just once right off, keep it pushing. My hair is combed. If it's not combed, you're liking too bad because you didn't buy the comb, nothing. So if you want my hair to comb, then go to the dollar store, get me a comb so I can comb it to your liking. How about that? How about that? Sometimes you just gotta, but they remember Jesus and me, and just be like, okay,
amen.
But yeah. So we have another question here. Did you find it hard finding products that agreed with your hair type and porosity, etc.? I had a question for you on some of the products you would use. So maybe in this question you can probably recommend, suggest, or even just share with us some of the products that you would use in your hair as well while answering this question.
All right. So I think what is one thing that people don't really tell you, your hair, the products that work for your hair change as it grows. And that is not something that I think is talked about enough, because when I first went natural, I would use certain products and they worked well for my hair then. And then as my hair started to grow, they would flake or they wouldn't give me the same kind of definition and all of that. And it was frustrating because I couldn't understand. And then you look at YouTube videos and you see people and you're like, okay, well, if this worked for them, it's going to work for me. Um, so yeah, right now my favorite products, I'm really into the Miel Organics, the Hawaiian ginger line. Their conditioner, their shampoo and their conditioner. Oh my gosh, the definition that it gives your hair. And they have this overnight mask that I love. So basically, you use it in your hair before you're about to wash it. Typically, it would be good to sleep with it. Put it in before you go to bed and sleep with it. And next day, whenever you're washing, and it leaves your hair so soft. So I really like those products. And also the Curls Blueberry Leave-In Conditioner, Blueberry Bliss leave-in conditioner is really nice. And I use on Jackie's grapeseed and avocado oil as well as the argan oil because my hair needs thicker products because I think I have low porosity hair. I'm not fully sure, but I think I have low porosity hair. And so I need to use so that's another thing. People like to say, oh, LOC, or LCO, and you're like, what is that? What are you talking about? And so then you Google and then you try to find things, but then you might not always have those products available to you because they might be things that are, specific to a certain country or
not even available in your region.
So that's a struggle, but I forgot where I was going with this.
No problem. You were talking about the porosity and like you having to use thicker stuff in your hair.
Right. So using different products and the leave-in. So there was something that I used to use that my aunt had suggested to me, and that's something that's only available in the States. And so when my products finished when I came back home, that was it. Then I had to find new products and it was a struggle. But you live and you learn. Don't go product crazy and just buy a whole bunch of products because you end up wasting your money. So if you can find like sample sizes or smaller sizes of products, just try it a little first. It's always good if you know you have something that works for your hair, it's your favorite, and you want to introduce something new, rather than finding out the hard way, putting it on your hair. You can always test it on your hands. So you take a little bit of each product and you mix it on the small of your hand. And so if you find if it has clumps, it's not going to work. You know that it's going to flake. But if it is smooth, then you know that those two products can work well together. So that's a good way to test your products. I also like the Uncle Funky's Daughter Curly Stimulator. That's a new product that I got introduced to and I really liked. Before that, I was using good old Eco Styler gel. For me, the green one didn't work. For everybody else, it seemed like the green one is holy grail. And I tried that and it flaked like nobody's business. And I couldn't understand, like Eco Styler works for everybody. And so that could be something that gets discouraging, but just understand that just as your DNA is unique, so is your hair. No two people have the same kind of hair. The same two products are not going to work for the same two people. So keep that in mind.
Thank you for that. So for those of you, I just want some amazing nuggets that we just got. We got the hand test. I had never heard about that before. So I'm learning myself, guys. So the hand test you can try, on the small of your hand if you want to try a new product. Test it out on your hand, see how it reacts to that, and then you know how to move forward. And that's actually a really good idea because, if I'm buying eyeshadow, whatever, I would test it on my hand to see how pigmented and stuff it is. So you can do the same thing with the hair products. And another great piece of information that we just got is that if you want to try something new, then it is recommended that you go in with the with a small size first, either travel size or the smallest size they may have in something. If it ranges in sizes, and then if you realize it works, then you can go ahead and buy as much as you want, buy in bulk, do what you want. It's your coins. But I think that's very, very good, because sometimes, like you said, like the Eco Styler gel, the green one, didn't work for you. So in a case like that, if you go buy the big tub and then you realize no work for you, you spend a whole set of money, and then you have a big tub of product that you can't use. So I think that's a very, very, very good piece of advice for those of you looking on and you're contemplating trying new products. We hear about a whole range of products on this show. So if you're contemplating getting any one, then we heard a beautiful recommendation of trying a smaller size, put it on your hands, and then if it works, it works, and all the best to you. So we were able to talk. Okay, so we have a comment saying it would be great to put the list of Gabby's products in the chat. So maybe when the live is over, you can just like hop in the comment section and just leave your comment there. I'll pin it so that anyone that watches this video can see the list of products. Okay, y'all are getting a lot, so y'all better subscribe. Okay, good. So I want to ask you another question, and the question is, why do you think it's important for Black women to be proud, Black men and women to be proud about their natural hair?
I think I touched on this earlier when I said that each and every one of us is designed, created, and beautifully made by God. And everything about us, from the crown of our head to the soles of our feet. And I do mean the crown, okay?
The literal crown of our heads to the soles.
Wonderfully made. And it is so important, especially in today's society, to appreciate yourself, and to not only appreciate yourself, but to share that love to your other brothers and sisters. Because listen, there are days when I do my hair and does not turn out how I want it to turn out, and I feel so uncute. And so people are like, oh my gosh, I love your hair, it's so gorgeous, and the joy that brings to me. So you never know, just reach out to someone, give them that love, because trust me, naturalista to naturalista, sister to sister, brother to sister, brother to brother, it comes from a place of love, and we need more of that love in our society and in our community.
Exactly.
To just work wonders, okay?
Yeah, I totally agree. That's very, very good advice. Thank you very much. Very, very good encouragement. So I've had a few people on the show who are from Ghana, and they have spoken about like our school systems and stuff like that, and even some workplaces or people within our workplaces not being receptive to our natural hair. And we have like some school systems where the natural hair the way we can wear natural hair is not the healthiest way for our hair, for our edges and stuff like that. So you live in the Cayman Islands. So I want to ask you, how is it there? Do you see that same thing where you think people have to fight to wear the natural hair? Are they discriminated against? What's it like in the school systems? If you could just give us a little synopsis.
So it's not as, I think, stringent here. There are a lot more lax. But then as I say that with some reserve, because most people don't have hair that look like mine. Those are people that have like your type 3 up or type 4 up. And so, yes, you do see people who do have type 4 hair, and you see them in corporate spaces. But even then, you tend to see people keeping it sober, so to speak. Yes, they might wear an afro or wear it defined or whatever, but I wouldn't say that it's policed. But I think that just because there are so many people who have that kind of different hair texture, that higher up on the scale hair texture, it's not as, I don't know for anybody else, I guess maybe because I'm type 4, when I think about natural hair, I think about, my first thought is an afro. It's not necessarily somebody with type 3, and that's, I know that's bias. And we have to accept everyone as natural as they are.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to just appreciate wherever you are on the scale and just allow it to, you know, I think for me personally, because I recently started um, being in the workplace, and
Uh-huh.
so um, some on Fridays I tend to wear my hair, out, or I
Mm-hmm.
wear it in a puff, and nobody really says anything
Says
to me.
anything. Okay.
It's good.
Well, that's great. And I'm happy that, it's good to learn about different environments. So that's a very, very good piece of information. So thank you for sharing that with us. And wish you all the best on your work journey as well.
Thank you.
Um, so before we wrap up today's interview, I want to ask a question I like to close out with because I feel like this show is about uplifting people. So I feel like this is always a good way to end the show. But of course, if you have your questions, feel free to ask them. If you're watching this after, like I said earlier, you can leave them in the comment section and I will reach out to Gabby and just tell her, okay, somebody asked a question. Can you answer it? So that question is you've given us a lot of advice, but maybe you can speak to the people who are, okay, so I can be specific with this question. Let's speak to the people who are contemplating joining us on our natural hair journey. What is what's a piece of advice you would give to that person?
What are you waiting for? It's vibes over here. Yeah, one piece of advice I would definitely say, it's really not easy, and you kind of get that sense when you're on the other side that, oh, natural hair is so easy. Oh, you just do this and you just do that. I'll tell you, it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding because as your hair grows, you learn more about your hair and yourself. And there's just something beautiful that happens when you have that kind of relationship with your hair and taking care of your hair, because honestly, it's a process, and
Mhm.
all good things should be savored. So, you take that time, you spend, you deep condition, you this, you that, you style it. And as you get to know your hair and you have that understanding, you will see your hair grow, and it's just beautiful. So join us, join us, join us. I know it's scary. You might have concerns about how you may be perceived, but trust me, the natural hair community is welcoming. So
With
join us.
open arms. Join us. Yeah. So I love that. What are you waiting for? If you're contemplating going natural, this is the time, this is the moment. Especially, I mean, some parts are during the pandemic are relaxed, some are not. But if you are in a private, now is the time to try because you're at home.
Yes,
There's
nobody
no
to see you.
time than now to try different things, try different styles because you are home. Or even if you're not home, you're supposed to be home. So this is the perfect time to try. Join us. What are you waiting for? So I want to thank you very, very much, so much for coming on. This was indeed a beautiful interview. I had fun. I hope you had fun too. I hope that the people doing this and the people that will view this, I hope that you enjoyed this interview. Please remember to like this video, share this video on your Facebook. You can share it on your Instagram, share it on your WhatsApp status. Just share the video with somebody. And of course, if you have not as yet, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. It's good, beautiful, uplifting content every week. Gabby, thank you once again. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for commenting. This is KayKaySlays. I'm with Gabrielle David, and we're both saying goodbye.